Just going to apologize if you hear any background noise. The welders are in the background on the other next room over. Anyways, let's get started. First of all, we're going to talk about this pie chart idea. And what a pie chart is a circular display of data with pie slices per se to show relative size. We use this to show parts of a whole. So if you're not worried about how much the parts of your data compare to the whole, then you wouldn't use a pie chart. But this works great when you're surveying to show the overall results as compared to everyone else. So let's first, our main goal today is going to be if we're given the number of people that were surveyed and what question they were asked and their answer options, we want you to be able to identify how many people fall into each category. So if we look here at this first example, we have 500 people that were customers that were surveyed on their satisfaction with whatever it is they were talking about, where we have a range from very dissatisfied to somewhat dissatisfied, somewhat satisfied, and very satisfied. We want to know how many customers were satisfied. So what we do first is we are going to convert the percent into a decimal. Now, if you notice here, it doesn't identify whether we're talking very satisfied or somewhat satisfied. So the first thing that we're going to do, since these two are the two that we're looking at, we're going to take our 9% plus our 14% because they all are satisfied in one way or another. So that means that 23% of the people were satisfied. So I'm going to take my 23%, and if you recall, if we take our decimal, which is right here, and move it 2 places to the left, we're going to get our decimal that we want, which is 0 and 23 hundredths. And then step 2 is going to be, we want to multiply that decimal by the number of people surveyed, which in our case is 500. So I'm going to take my 0.23 and I'm going to multiply that by 500. Now when I do that, I don't have a calculator on me, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about it the long way. I'm going to take my 500 and my 0.23, and 3 times 0 is 0, 0, 5 times 3 is 15. Now I'll mark my spot. We got 0, 0, and 10. So when I go ahead and add this, I get 0, 0, 5, 1, 1. I need 2 decimal places because my 2 decimal places here, which means that I have an answer of 115 people out of the 500 were satisfied. Now, question 2 was how many more customers were very dissatisfied than very satisfied. So we know that there were more that were very dissatisfied. So this one is pretty easy. We see that very dissatisfied was 50%. So I have 0.5, and I'm going to take that times my 500, and I know that that's 250 people because half of 500 is 250. Now, very satisfied, we have 9%, which is 0.09, and I'm going to take that times 500, and I see here that when I do this, I've got 500.09, I get 0, 0, I get 45, so I have 45 people. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit here. So I'm going to take 250 minus 45, so that is 205. And the question asks how many more customers? So I'm going to say more customers, or what I was looking for. Let's take a look at another example. In the next example, we surveyed 1,000 teenagers on their favorite type of social media. And as you can see, we've got a key here since these were a lot to write into it. And we want to know how many people prefer Google+. Well, I see here that Google+ is in purple. And that purple that I am looking at matches right here with 14%. So I'm going to get my 0.14, and I'm going to multiply that by 1,000. Well, I know my trick with when I have powers of 10, such as a number like 1,000, and the number of zeros I've got is the number of times I'm going to move that decimal to the right, which means my answer is 140 people, and I abbreviate people PPL. Now my second question is how many more people prefer Twitter to Pinterest? So we're going to start with Twitter. And with Twitter, I see Twitter is in red, and that is 25%. So I'm going to start with my 0.25 times 1,000, move the decimal 3 places to the right, and I get 250 people. Now, I'm going to look now at Pinterest. I'm going to put a P for Pinterest, and I see that Pinterest is light blue, which is right here, which is 8%, or 0.08, times my 1,000, move it 3 places to the right, and I get 80 people. And so I am going to go ahead and take my 250 minus my 80 people, and I get 170 more people. Easy enough. We're just doing some math using some decimals. You will be allowed to use a calculator. So the next step is you need to take the you-try problem here of the survey of 250 people on their favorite sport and answer how many people prefer swimming and how many more people prefer track to gymnastics.